3 hours after my mother was buried, I learned exactly how invisible people thought I was. The room was full. The drinks were flowing. My husband was smiling like it was just another social event, and everyone seemed very comfortable forgetting that the woman standing quietly near the window had just lost the only parent who ever believed in her. What they didn't know, not one of them, was that I was about to become the most powerful person in that room, and their laughter was about to age very badly. My name is Evelyn Carter, and for most of my life people underestimated me without even trying. I was the quiet one, the agreeable one, the woman who smiled, nodded, and carried the weight so others could feel lighter. That afternoon, standing in the reception hall of my mother's estate, I felt hollow. My head was pounding. My eyes burned from crying, and I was holding a glass of water I kept forgetting to drink. The house itself was beautiful in that cold, polished way money creates. Tall windows, marble floors, expensive art on the walls, all of it built by my mother, one careful decision at a time. She didn't inherit wealth. She built it painfully patiently while raising me alone after my father died. And 3 hours after watching her coffin lowered into the ground, I was surrounded by people who couldn't wait to benefit from her absence. The reception was supposed to be small and respectful. That plan collapsed the moment my husband Ryan walked in. He didn't come alone. His arm was wrapped around a woman named Lila, someone I recognized immediately. She worked in public relations at one of our hospitality properties. I hired her. Ryan didn't even hesitate. He kissed her cheek, smiled at the guests, and acted like I was a distant relative, not his wife. Phones came out fast. People love a public collapse. I felt my stomach drop, not from shock, but from a strange sense of clarity. So this was who he really was. Ryan's mother drifted over with a champagne flute, her expression permanently frozen in polite cruelty. She glanced at me and said loud enough for half the room to hear, "Honestly, Evelyn, must you look so miserable? It's been hours. Try to smile." A few people laughed, the uncomfortable kind. Ryan's brother added something about me being dramatic, always making things heavy. I looked at Ryan, waiting for him to say something, anything. He didn't. Lila leaned into him and whispered something that made him grin. That grin hurt more than the betrayal. It said I was no longer worth defending. I tried to speak. Nothing came out. When I stepped closer, Ryan lifted his hand slightly like I was interrupting. "Not today," he said. "Let people enjoy themselves." My God, your mother wouldn't want all this sadness. That was the moment something inside me cracked, then settled. I turned and walked away. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I walked out onto the balcony and breathed. That's where I saw Mr. Whitman, my mother's attorney. He stood quietly in the corner holding a leather folder, watching everything with an expression that wasn't sympathy. It was patience. When our eyes met, he nodded once, subtle, intentional, like he was telling me to wait. Out on the balcony, the city stretched below me. This estate, the businesses tied to it, the properties scattered across the country, all of it existed because my mother refused to be small. I remembered being 10 years old, sitting on the floor of her tiny office while she worked late into the night. I once asked her why she never slowed down. She looked at me and said, "Because one day someone will try to take what you've built, and you need to know how to stand your ground without screaming." That memory hit hard. Mr. Whitman found me a few minutes later. He spoke gently but directly. My mother had left specific instructions. The will was to be read publicly exactly 3 hours after the burial. He said she wanted to see how people behaved when they thought I was vulnerable. He asked if I was ready. I didn't feel ready, but I nodded anyway. When everyone was called into the main hall, Ryan looked annoyed. He sat in the front row with Lila practically on his lap. His mother leaned forward like she was already calculating numbers. I sat in the back, quiet, watching. Mr. Whitman explained that before reading the legal documents, my mother requested a video be played. The screen lit up, and there she was. Thinner than I remembered, tired but sharp. She spoke calmly about building her company from nothing, about mistakes she made, about sacrifices. Then her tone shifted. She talked about betrayal, about people who confuse kindness for weakness, about watching her daughter be underestimated by the very people who benefited from her trust. Ryan stiffened. Lila's face drained of color. My mother named names. She exposed the affair, the misuse of company funds, the lies. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She left everything to me. 100% ownership. Ryan received nothing. His family received nothing. The room exploded. People shouted. Ryan stood up yelling about lawyers and mistakes. I stood too. For the first time that day, my voice didn't shake. "This house is mine," I said. "Every property tied to my mother's name is mine, and so are the decisions that come with it." I turned to Lila and told her she was terminated effective immediately. Security escorted her out while she avoided eye contact. I turned to Ryan's family and informed them their positions were terminated. They had 48 hours to vacate company housing. Ryan tried to grab my arm. I stepped back. "I want a divorce," I said. Calm. Final. Mr. Whitman reminded Ryan about the prenup. Ironclad. Then the police entered. Ryan was arrested for fraud and embezzlement. Watching him in handcuffs, I felt nothing. No joy, no rage, just relief. A year later, my life looks very different. Ryan is in prison. His family scattered. I stepped into leadership and people doubted me. I proved them wrong. I expanded the company, changed its culture, made it fairer, stronger. Last week, I stood at my mother's grave and told her I finally understood what she meant about quiet strength. So here's my question for you. If you were in my place, would you have done the same? Or do you think there's a line between justice and cruelty? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if you've ever been underestimated, I hope this reminds you that silence doesn't mean weakness. Sometimes it just means you're waiting for the right moment to stand up.